Tomorrow, the American flag will once again fly over a U.S. embassy in Cuba. It is a symbolic moment in the renewal of relations between the two countries, but the two are at odds over how to handle American fugitives using the island as a haven. Margaret Brennan is in Havana, and she tracked down an accused cop killer who has been hiding in that city for more than 40 years. Margaret, good morning.
Good morning. Havana has long been a haven for radicals, revolutionaries, and others trying to elude the U.S. justice system. We spoke to one American whose freedom may be at risk because of the thaw in relations between these two countries.
I still consider myself to be a revolutionary. Yes, I do.
Charlie Hill, a former black radical accused of murder, has been on the lam for 44 years. He lives on the outskirts of Havana, beyond the reach of the FBI, under the protection of the Cuban government.
This is a place that the Cuban government gave you.
Yes, the Cuban gave me this house. This is my house.
The 65-year-old lives very modestly, but as a free man.
Cuba's always giving me the great opportunity. I'm very grateful to them. They gave me work, they gave me a job.
Hill fled here in 1971 after he and two other members of a nationalist group hoping to create a separate black country were accused of fatally shooting 28-year-old New Mexico State Trooper Robert Rosenblum. The trio then hijacked a TWA flight and forced it to land in Havana, where Fidel Castro granted them political asylum.
What would you say to the family of Robert Rosenblum, that trooper who was killed that night?
I would say to them it's regretful, you know, that when a person's life has to be taken, and that I did not kill Officer Rosenblum, and that, you know, it's sad.
The thaw in relations between the U.S. and Cuba has renewed calls for Hill's extradition. New Mexico Governor Susana Martinez recently wrote Secretary Kerry calling Hill a terrorist and saying this was a chance to finally be able to bring a cop killer to justice.
But you fear that they could extradite you?
The United States government has never given up trying to extradite me. They've constantly tried to extradite me. And that's nothing new. They're still going to try to do it.
Well, why not have your day in court and fight these charges if they're not true?
But if I felt I could get a fair trial, I would go back to the United States of America, because I'm not a terrorist, nor am I a cop killer.
Hill is just one of roughly 70 American fugitives harbored by Havana. But Cuban diplomats say they will not hand over any of those considered political exiles.
Do you believe that the Cuban government will keep protecting you?
Yes, I do. Yes, I do.
Hill believes that he was unfairly targeted because he's a black radical and says it would still be impossible to get a fair trial. Now, neither the state nor Justice Departments would comment, but we do know, Gail, that negotiations over at least some of these fugitives is in the early stages.
All right, Margaret, thank you.